morning, sunshine. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Today in LA. And I say good morning, sunshine. There's no sunshine around. Troy and Pike County received over 3 inches of rain yesterday. Can you believe that? That is a ton of rain for one area of the state yesterday. And I think Troy had the high total around the state, right at 3 inches of rain. Hit several areas of Troy yesterday, and boy, they were big drops too. I'm talking about those drops had some weight behind it. So hopefully all of that's over with, but it does make for greener grass. I told my neighbor who just moved into my neighborhood a few days ago, I said, listen, don't worry about your yard as long as we have rain. Water makes good yards. Everybody can talk about all the fertilizer you want and all this expert advice you get. Well, let me tell you this, as long as it rains, you're going to have good grass, and that's the way it's been in Pike County. In fact, I haven't even had any real need to turn on my sprinkler system, this entire summer. So that'll tell you a little bit about the rain that we've had. Troy picks up a big win in Dixie Boys baseball yesterday, and then they lost to Enterprise 4-2. Troy began the day in the district playoffs in Dixie Boys baseball. That's 13 and 14-year-old groups. They won 3-1 over Ozark. Then they got beat 4-2 by Enterprise. Troy picked up just 3 hits. You can't win that way. Both teams really played well. Said Coach Chris Hunter. Skylar Kidd pitched a heck of a game for Troy in a losing cause. And of course, Troy scored 2 runs in the top of the first inning. Darrell Lee began the scoring with a double to drive in Nate Bradston, and Jaden Jordan knocked him in with a double. So Troy increased their lead to 3-0 and went on and won that game. Opelika scored their long run in the bottom of the 3rd inning. So Troy is playing very well in this tournament, and hopefully they'll get by the next round. Chase Shiraka scored on a drop 3rd strike, and Lee reached base, and Troy went ahead and won that ball game. Of course, losing to Enterprise also 4-2, and they just have one loss in the tournament. I want to mention some other things going on. Troy Dixie, Junior Dixie Boys, and I tell you, it's hard to keep up with all these, continues to play in the state tournament in Enterprise. Troy knocked off Dothan 14-7. Game 1 was a tale of 2 hands. Troy held a tight 5-3 lead in the 4th inning. By the game's end, the game closed, turned it into a comfortable 14-7 win over Dothan yesterday. Billy Jeffcoat, of course, is the coach of the Troy team, and the Dothan team was the only other undefeated team at the time, and it was very hot when they played, but Phoenix, Griffin, Payne, Jeffcoat had big days, and of course Jeffcoat was the pitcher that won the game. Of course, I want to mention Troy District swim team. The Tiger Sharks spent their day on Saturday competing in Dothan at the big district swim meet, and by the day's end, the Tiger Sharks had 22 swimmers to qualify for the state and finished 3rd overall. That is really good. Nicholas Chryson's team swam very well, and they are all qualified for a spot in Birmingham if they finish before the event's qualifying time. So congratulations to that Tiger Shark swim team. I want to mention Post 70. The American Legion team is really red hot. They won the state championship or claimed their share of the 17 and under state championship on Sunday. And that was Post 70. Now we'll go to Huntsville. Let's see what else happened here. American Legion Post 70, 17 and under had their summer come to a close on Sunday when they finished their state tournament as co-champions alongside of Huntsville. Mother Nature was the true winner of the event, and when it rained one night in Troy, it's got to rain pretty hard because of the all-weather surface. After stormy weather, Coach Ross Hickson and Post 70 were forced to play 3 games on the tournament's final day, and that made it tough. And the Post 70 began with a win over Dothan, and then they followed up with a win over Florence, and right after that the rains came and sort of rained everything out, but they were the co-champions of the state of Alabama, and I don't know if they'll continue to play after this or not. Skylar Kidd pitched brilliantly for Troy in a big win over Opelika in the state tournament in Enterprise this weekend, so congratulations to him. A lot of baseball still going on in tournament-wise, and of course we're going to have the Dixie Bells on our show on Friday with a big cake auction, and we'll introduce those that state championship team that is heading to the World Series of 15 and under girls softball. So we're proud of them, and we hope that you'll call in on Friday and donate to the cause because it costs money to go to these big tournaments, and we want these teams to raise some of the funds themselves to help finance this tournament. Of course, we'll be talking more about these all-star teams. I want to mention the Tiger Shark swim team to qualify 22 for the state meet is really a tremendous victory for this Troy swimming team to be able to send that many people to the state. And there's a couple of people on this team that is really, really good, and we're going to be watching them closely. The state meet will be held in Birmingham on the July 26th to the 28th at the Crossplex arena or facility in Birmingham. I want to mention the members of the 2008 state champion Post 70 baseball team here they are: Dalton Grider, Logan Ross, DJ Law, Will Reeves of Charles Henderson High School, Trevor Barron of Pike Liberal Arts, Max Copeland of Pike Liberal Arts, Brady James of Pike Liberal Arts, Chance Pollard of Charles Henderson, Lawson Scarborough of Charles Henderson, Chandler Golden and Jade Seitz of Pike Liberal Arts, Dustin Jones and Cody Jones of Pike Liberal Arts, Davis Allen of Pike Liberal Arts, Holt Steed of Pike Liberal Arts, Jackson Seaman and Clay Barron of Pike Liberal Arts, and Cole McWhirter of Pike Liberal Arts, and Grayson Davis. So a great group of these baseball players in American Legion Baseball, and congratulations on their accomplishment as they are co-state champions, and we're proud of them. A lot of those kids played at Pike Liberal and at Charles Henderson, and we always said that if you put those teams together, what a great team you'll have, and that's exactly what they did under Coach Ross Hickson. Want to mention a few other things. The Troy matches Enterprise, but failed to Enterprise, and they're out of the that tournament. That was the AAA, I believe, and but it was a real good game, and the all-star teams representing Troy really have done well, and a lot of them will continue to play on travel teams after the regular season's over. So Troy will shine, and no question about it, as their baseball programs have been just outstanding. I want to mention a few other things. A good friend of mine has been honored in Brundage, Dr. Jack Jones, veterinarian. long-time veterinarian in Brundage, is finally retiring. After many years of service to the Brundage and Pike County community and Dale County community, and one of the great people, I'm telling you, Dr. Jack Jones, and really an outstanding person. Rex Lumber, and if you haven't been out there, just north of Troy on Highway 231 on County Road 7714, there's going to be a groundbreaking today at the future site of the new state-of-the-art sawmill that will employ up to 110 people and a vested income to our county of $110 million. And I rode by there the other day, and I could not believe what I saw. I mean, huge piece of property, 214-acre site, has been is going to be one of the largest sawmill projects in the country. And of course, Rex Lumber is very well known all over this part of the country, and we're excited about it. So if you want to see something special, head out to this site today, and you'll see some impressive looking facilities that are being used to clear that property, and we're excited about it. Chicken Shack and Red Schoolhouse still are alive for the right to call themselves the best fried chicken in the country. More than 10,000 connoisseurs of fried chicken voted in the first round of Bama's Best Fried Chicken contest, and the grease is heating up for round two, and some of the local teams still in it. One of them is Chicken Shack in Luverne, and they've always been known for their great chicken. Zaxby's family restaurant in Dothan, and Red's Little Schoolhouse in Grady, going up against Chappie's in Muscle Shoals, with two restaurants in the running for the prestigious title, Bama's Best Fried Chicken. To have Chicken Shack and Little Red's not far from each other, having going down the wire as being called the best chicken, fried chicken in the world. I don't know if they counted Martin's Restaurant in Montgomery, but that is another great one. Is Martin's fried chicken in Montgomery. But it's been a lot of fun to watch this and watch this contest. And somebody reached and they said, I've been eating fried chicken for 40 years. And he said, I didn't know it was any big difference. But when you start a contest like this with the Chicken Shack and Reds going head to head in the finals on Thursday, that's quite an honor for their restaurants. And I don't think anybody has ever questioned how good Red's Little Schoolhouse chicken was on Sundays. I've eaten up there so many times, and I know all the people up there. But also a great place in Luverne at the Chicken Shack, and it's just wonderful. I noticed that Crow's Chicken was not involved in this, but you'd have to throw out Crow's Chicken as one of the great places to buy chicken. I know Cheryl Crow brought that chicken here several years ago, and I don't know if anybody anywhere has more good things to say about their chicken than Crow's Chicken over the years. But this has been fun to watch, and I hope a lot of you have enjoyed it. And of course, we appreciate the Messenger and all they do to put this, to bring a lot of this information out to us. The polls are open right now. In fact, they've been open for the last 15 minutes, and they're open all over Pike County for these Republican elections. The Pike County District Judge race will be today. There will be no Democratic runoff ballots, as every statewide regional Democratic race was decided back in June the 5th. There was no local Democratic races, so this is going to be all Republican, and Jamie Scarborough estimates about a 15% or higher turnout. Good morning, you're on. Good morning.
Hey, morning.
Mike Amos calling in from Birmingham this morning. You doing well?
Yeah, doing pretty well.
Okay, and of course, what's going on up there? Is it rainy? Been rainy? We got over 3 inches of rain here in Pike County, Mike, the last 24 hours.
Well, it's rained up here. It hadn't rained that much. They had a big concert festival, Small Fest, and had a lot of rainouts and lightning delays and stuff like that.
Yeah.
A lot of people didn't get refunded money from the event, and so a lot of people were upset about that. I guess it's election day today. Is that going to be?
Yeah. Well, that's it.
People not going to the polls? Is the weather?
I don't know, but to me, the races in Pike County are very important. You know, one of them's for a district judge, another is for the congressional race between two pretty well-known names, and so it's going to be some interesting elections going on, no question about it.
Oh, you got Troy King and Marshall running against each other.
We got, and then we also have Allen running against, well, that race though is not until later on.
This is just Republican today.
Yeah. So that would be the
you got Bobby Bright against Martha Roby.
Yeah, that's right. Martha Roby was in Troy yesterday.
The number one supporter of Bobby Wright is our friend, the lawyer Will Matthews.
Oh yeah, exactly. Well, he's from Ozark originally, so Will's going to take care of the home crowd. We got a great show today. Later on, we got Eric Burkett, the new headmaster at Pike Liberal Arts, will be our guest, and looking forward to talking to him. He hails from the Greenville area, and I had a good conversation with him yesterday, and he'll be on our show around the 8 o'clock hour. Hope everybody's doing well today. And as I say, Mike, you don't have to worry about your grass getting wet, because we've had plenty of opportunity for that.
Yeah, last night you had the home run derby. Bryce Harper won the home run derby in Major League Baseball.
How many did he hit?
I mean, it's just different stages throughout. I mean, one time he hit, I think, 13 or 14. One time he had to hit 20.
How many has he already hit this year in regular season?
He's in the 20s, but he's had a horrible season. He's only hitting 210.
Yeah, and he's just been, I reckon he's been swinging for the fences.
The Nationals are off to a horrible start, so
yeah,
he's under a lot of ridicule because he's his contract season as well. And, he wants to be the highest paid player in baseball.
Trout with California is probably the best player out there right now. Is that right?
Yeah, probably overall like a 5-tool player.
What is he? Is he had a good year?
Yeah, he's in the 20s in home runs.
Mm-hmm. And of course,
this Mickey Mantle card, the 1952 Mickey Mantle card, just went for $12 million.
Oh gosh. Well, I had some. I probably had that card, but it was probably all wrinkled up.
It's a pristine 1952 Topps Mickey Mantle, valued several millions, was delivered to the History Colorado Center. $12 million.
Isn't that amazing for a baseball card? No question. And I had a lot of his cards because he was sort of my hero. I tell you, I had a good conversation about an article I wrote on Facebook, Mike, about Bobby Marlowe. And of course, when he came through here, everybody, he was sort of everybody's hero. And I was talking to a good friend of mine yesterday, and I told him, I said, you're my hero, and I'm going to be writing about you soon. And he just laughed. But, growing up, I don't know about you, but I had a lot of heroes growing up. A lot of local people, and then a lot of people that played professionally. And I'll throw out a couple of them for you. And you probably don't even remember this, but growing up, hey, Mary Prater, good morning, sugar. But one of those guys, when I was watching football growing up, my favorite player was Eddie LeBaron, little Eddie LeBaron, who played quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys. Have you ever heard of him?
Yeah, I've heard that name.
Of course, he was a real short guy, but he played on TV almost every Sunday because the CBS owned the Washington Redskins back then. And then in basketball, my favorite hero in the pros was Bob Pettit. And boy, he was.
Petty played at LSU, didn't he?
Yeah, he played at LSU, and then he played with the St. Louis Hawks, and was a great player. And he's about 6'9" guy that could shoot it real well. And I was joking with a guy yesterday. I was looking at some glasses out at Walmart, and the guy walked up to me and he said, "Those glasses look like Harry Carey." And when I turned around and I said, "Pettit jumps, looks, shoots good as a Busch Bavarian beer at your favorite grocery market," that was Harry Carey doing St. Louis Hawk basketball back in the 50s, late 50s and 60s, and I was a little boy listening to that.
Yeah, I knew he did basketball as well.
Yeah, and he was good too. But of course, locally I had quite a few of them. I was talking to a friend of mine recently. What a hero Sheryl Crow was of mine. What a great player he was when I was a little boy growing up. Great basketball player and great football player, and and then I wrote this little article about Bobby Marlowe, and you heard the story about Van Hoos when asked who was the best football player he'd ever seen, running back he'd ever seen at Alabama. You remember that?
Yeah.
And they went through all these names of Johnny Musso and Bobby Humphrey and Wilbur Jackson. He said they were all great players, but I'll take the orphan boy from Troy any day of the week. And that was Bobby Marlowe. And of course, he was one of my heroes growing up. And Leroy, of course, was one of my heroes at Alabama, the great linebacker Leroy Jordan. And I tell you, maybe my favorite player of all time, Mike, might have been Ken Stabler. I just really like Kenny Stabler as a quarterback.
And he was a star player at Foley in high school. And
yeah.
One of the greatest players ever played at Alabama.
Yeah. And boy, he was against. I can see it right now in the Sugar Bowl, his senior year, and he played on an undefeated team at Alabama, and they didn't give him a national championship, but he played on that undefeated team, and he was just unreal in that Sugar Bowl, throwing passes to Ray Perkins. Let me put you on hold a second, Mike. Let me put you on hold a second. I'll be right back with you. Good morning. You're on Today in L.A. How you doing?
Hey, Mike. This is Coach Lee and Mac Lowry. We're at the Pike County Lake this morning, and I wanted to give you some more information about Eddie LeBaron.
You don't remember Eddie LeBaron?
I remember the name. He was in college. He joined the Marine Corps Reserves. He served in the Korean War. Was injured. Was decorated the Purple Heart, and later was awarded the Bronze Star for his heroic actions on the front lines.
I did not know that. He played his college ball at the little school called Pacific.
That's correct.
And he would play with the Redskins, and he was little Eddie LeBaron, bless his heart, was a great football player.
They were 11-0 in 1949. He led the nation in total offense.
What for Pacific?
60 minutes a game. A safety, quarterback, and punter.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, you're there. You're sitting there with one of my all-time heroes today, and that's my preacher at Calvary Baptist Church.
That's right.
Is he sitting right next to you? Mac Lowry. Mac Lowry is a great man, and I'm so proud to call him my preacher.
Okay, well, we just want to touch base with you.
Oh, y'all, well, no, I'm glad you called now. Let me ask you this, are y'all catching any fish out there? What does a real heavy rain...
People catching catfish, bass, and brim. It slows down during the middle of the day because it heats up. But
yeah.
We got about half a dozen on the lake right now.
Yeah. All right, let me ask you this. After a hard rain, how many inches of rain did we get? Close to 3 inches of rain, didn't we?
Well, I locked up at 7:30 last night, and we hadn't gotten any rain at that time.
But Troy...
At the country club, we got hardly any.
Well, we had a tremendous rain in Troy, around the Crow Hill area last night, and I mean, it just stormed and stormed and stormed, and they had rain. We had rain pretty much all day long. Isn't that amazing?
Well, we didn't get much. We didn't get hardly any
But,
out here
but what?
yesterday at
All right. So when you do have a heavy rain like that, does that enhance the fishing or does that hurt the fishing?
Well, most folks get off the lake when it's doing that.
Yeah.
I'm not that sure. I've always heard after it comes a good rain, they tend to bite pretty good. But
Yeah. Well, let me answer this. Let me tell. All right, if I had a cane pole and some crickets, couldn't I go out on that dock and catch me a mess of brim?
you probably could. Yeah, you can fish for free.
Yeah, I know it. Well, the bull brim though, the bull brim. Do you see much of that? The shell crack and the bluegill.
Yes, sir, we have both sets out here.
But you know, if you can get in the bed, are they bedding right now, or do you know?
I'm not sure. You have to call back and ask the expert.
Well, y'all have a good time, don't you? You've always got hot coffee out there, don't you?
Yes, sir, we got some on the percolator right now. Come on out and get you a
And
sip.
y'all sitting back on the porch having a good time. And you know, people don't realize.
Show right now.
Yeah, a lot of people don't realize, ladies and gentlemen, that this is a local community place to fish, the Pike County Lake, and they welcome you to come out and fish with them today.
Yes, sir.
Bring your kids with them. Hey, y'all come on. You come be on the show soon here.
All right. Have a good day.
Back to our show. You're on Today in L.A. Good morning.
Hey, I'm back on.
All right, I'm going to put you on hold a second and get this other line. Good morning. You're on Today in L.A. How you doing?
Mike Amos, how you doing this morning?
Doing great. Doing great. How you doing?
I'm doing good.
Where you calling from? Where you calling from?
Well, I'm calling from between Dothan and Midland City.
Okay, okay. And what's going on? What's going on with you?
Well, I just voted and I'm headed to my office. I vote in Dothan because
Yeah.
I live in Dothan.
Ladies and gentlemen, Will Matthews is on the line, and Will Matthews has just finished 5th in the world in the World Championships of Dominoes. Will, tell us about it.
Well, I came in 5th in the singles, and the guy that beat me lost in the finals, and then I came in 5th in the doubles.
Well, that was great.
I was in the money both times, but I didn't win either one of the tournaments.
Well, at one time, did you feel like you had a chance to win it?
Well, the singles, yes. Doubles, no. But I was pleased in the doubles to get as far as I did. But the singles, I'm not a good singles player, and when you run into these cats from Texas, I mean, it's hard to beat them.
Oh, really? All right, listen, I'm gonna bring you in. I'm gonna put you on hold, and I'm gonna bring Mike Amos in on here. All right, we've got it here. Okay, I've got. Who do I have? I have you, Mike.
Yeah.
Okay, let me bring in Will right here. Okay, I got both of you now. Is that right?
Yes.
All right, Will, and got Mike too?
Yeah.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, from our studios here on South Running Street, we're talking to the so-called 5th best domino player in the world right now. His name is Will Matthews. He hails from Ozark, Alabama. And Will, you're going to have more trophies than you can handle before long, man.
Well, it's fun going over there every year, and it's always good to be in the money because you got your hotel room and meals and all that you got to defray.
Yeah. Well, and another thing too, I'm not going to ask you how much how well you did on side games, but you played a lot. About how many games of dominoes did you play while you were gone?
Oh God, I played solidly for probably. Well, Thursday I probably played 7-8 hours.
Did y'all go into the night in the early hours?
Oh yeah. We played. Now I quit about 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
You got to play at 8 the next morning. So.
Yeah. Well, did you get good dominoes, or did you have to maneuver, or what?
I got good dominoes and I got bad. That's the way it works.
Yeah.
Sometimes you get good, sometimes you get bad.
Did you play against people that played fast, or did you play against some slow people?
Oh, when you get in the doubles, you get slow people, and it takes forever, and it's not fun, really.
All right, now you had no choice on who your partner was in doubles. Is that right?
That's right. That's right.
Was any of your local friends down there for it, or was Andy Murphy around?
Andy Murphy was there. He played in the doubles, and he played with a lady from Nashville, Tennessee, and they did well. They were in the final 8.
Oh, so and ladies and gentlemen, from right here in Troy, Andy Murphy, and I'll just let him answer this question for you. How good is Andy Murphy, Will?
He's one of the best players that comes over there. There's no question. He's great.
And of course, Andy grew up right here in Troy. Of course, Tom and Susan, I know, are proud of Andy. Of course, Andy represents Troy Country Club. He plays out of the Troy Country Club.
Yeah, Tom played. Hey, Tom played too. He played in the tournament.
Oh yeah. Oh, he did. I tell you, he's a very good friend of mine. He was sort of one of my heroes growing up. He was a great quarterback years ago at Old Troy High School.
Right.
Will Matthews.
So where does this take place at, Dan Lucia?
Michael, they've got the nicest place you've ever seen. It's the Kiwanis Fairgrounds. It's a huge, it's like a
big rodeo park, isn't it? A big rodeo park?
It's indoor. I mean, it's indoor, air conditioned. It's very nice. I mean, it's huge too.
And you know what I can't understand is you got this is a Kiwanis Club facility, and y'all are the Rotary Club, aren't you? Putting on the tournament.
The Rotary Club puts it on, and they raise $40,000 or $50,000 every year for Camp Asca and some other charities.
Yeah.
And it's really a good thing for the community. Plus, it fills up all their hotels and all their restaurants, and it's a big, it's a big money deal for. In fact, I saw Earl, the mayor. I said, Mayor, you like it when these domino people come? He said, oh yeah, we love it.
You know, Earl Johnson is a good friend of mine, Will, and y'all sort of remind me of each other. Y'all are both attorneys. Y'all are both attorneys. Y'all probably gone against each other in court before, haven't you?
I've never gone against him. Now, I've been on the same side with him a couple times, but I've never gone against him.
Of course, he's done wonders as mayor of the city of Andalusia, and a good friend of mine. Now, let me tell you something else about him. He's a huge Troy guy. And, this beautiful park in front of Bill Graves Hall in Troy, he's the reason we have that. He paid out of his own pocket to build this beautiful fountain. You probably have seen that at Troy, haven't you? Where they got a big Trojan park there?
He's a super guy. He'll be mayor for life over there. They love him.
Oh, yeah, and he does. Well, what he is, he's progressive. He's a very progressive guy. That's Cahaba Bank right there. Will be opening very soon in Troy. Troy, Will, I don't know if you realize it, is really growing. We're getting, like Ozark. Now, Ozark might have more banks for the size town as any town around. Troy is getting that way. How many banks do y'all have now in Ozark?
I don't know, 4 or 5 probably, but Ozark has not grown in years and years. Enterprise has just exploded.
Yeah. Well, I've always wondered, how does that happen? I mean, they're just 15 miles apart. How does Ozark not grow and Enterprise grows like that?
Just leadership, basically.
Now, a lot of it has to do with all that federal. All right, now, a lot of it has to do with those beautiful school facilities. And, of course, these young people died in that terrible storm, and they built these beautiful, beautiful schools. That probably hurts Ozark a little bit when you got a choice between going to Enterprise or going to Ozark.
Mike, if you've seen Ozark's high school, it is absolutely unbelievably nice.
I know it is. And I know this, that Whaley Construction of Troy built it. Did you know that?
I did know that, and it cost $40 million. I mean, it's nice.
Yeah, exactly. So really both of them have great schools.
Dothan's growing like crazy.
Yeah, but Dothan's school system is the worst in the state.
Yeah, and that's
but
all right. That is his opinion, ladies and gentlemen. That is his opinion, not my opinion or the opinion of this studio.
Let me tell you something. It's everybody in Dothan's opinion. 3 private schools in Dothan that are flourishing
Yeah.
because nobody will send their children to the to the public schools in Dothan. They're awful.
Well, what they're going to need to do, what they're going to need to do, maybe is to combine them and do what Gadsden did. You know, Gadsden combined Emma Sampson and Gadsden High, and they've got a fabulous school there now.
All right, let me tell you what proof. I'll give you proof of why Dothan's school system is no good. People are flooding out of Dothan that have small children that can't afford private schools.
And they're moving to Headland, and they're moving to
Headland. They're going to Headland, and they're going to Rehoboth.
Exactly. You're exactly right.
Rehoboth, all right, 8 years ago, Rehoboth was a 1A school.
I remember that.
Guess what it is now?
They're going to be a 6A school soon, aren't they?
6A. They're 6A.
All right, they're bigger than Charles Henderson here in Troy. Charles Henderson's a 5A.
Headland was a 2A school. Guess what they are now?
They're 4A or 5A. Are they 5A now?
5A. That's right.
Yeah, that's right.
And no question about it. You're exactly right.
It's the British Open or the Open week. They're playing Carnoustie. Who's going to win it?
I'm glad you asked me, Michael. I'm gonna tell you the greatest round of golf I ever played in college at Vanderbilt was at Carnoustie. We played in a tournament, Michael. There were 12 teams from the United States went, and there were 6 teams from Scotland. And the 12 teams from the United States, Alabama went, Florida went, Georgia went, of the SEC. And us, that was 4 of them. And then they had 4 teams from the Southwest Conference. They had back then, they had Texas, Oklahoma State, and somebody else, Rice, I think. And then there was 4 from the Big Ten played. So there was 12 big schools from the United States played over there. Well, we played 4 rounds. It was a 72-hole tournament. And we had 6 players to the team. Okay. We played the old course. We played what's called the new course. It's at the old course, and it was built in 1800.
And there's not a tree anywhere to be found. Is that right?
Not on those courses, but there's bushes and gorses and heather and all that kind of stuff. Anyway, we played Carnoustie, and we played one other course. King's Barn, I think was the name of it. So anyway, we go out to Carnoustie, and the wind is blowing 40 miles an hour. Now, back in those days, they had what's called the British ball. It was a smaller ball that they used over there because it was easier to play in the wind. Well, our coach gave us we had all the balls we could use, and he gave us Titleist. And back then, a Titleist Balata ball in the wind could go anywhere. I mean, it's impossible. So I went in there and paid out of my own pocket. I bought 6 of those British balls. And back then, it wasn't cheating, but back then you could change balls after every hole. Now you can't. You have to play the same ball for 18 holes.
Yeah.
And there's no British ball anymore. They outlawed it about 25, 30 years ago.
Yeah.
So what I did, into the wind, I played the little ball. Downwind, I played the big ball. If I had a crosswind, like right to left or left to right, I'd play the little ball. And that's how I played the golf course. I only hit my driver twice on the golf course. I hit a 1-iron off every hole except 2 holes.
You mean you can hit a one iron? I thought, hey, no way you hit a 1-iron.
I did, and I hit it, Mike. I hit it about 10 feet off the ground and just punched it. And got it rolling. And I just played a running shot, and just to keep it in play. Because if you miss the fairway, I mean the rough is a foot deep.
Yeah.
It's really penal. Well, remember when you're watching the British Open, on number 6 is a par 5, and it's about 550 or 60 yards. They probably added length to it now. I hit a drive 450 yards downwind.
Wow.
I had a sand wedge to a par 5.
Now you were hitting a persimmon wood too. You weren't hitting one of these steel.
Yeah, but
Right.
Mike, the ground was like concrete.
Oh, okay.
So if you hit the fairway, the ball would roll
Uh huh.
80, 90 yards. But into the wind, you couldn't hit it anywhere because once it got up in the air, the wind just threw it
Yeah,
down.
I
you know?
got you.
So who do you
Out
think
of all those players,
to win?
there was 108 people played that course that day.
And you outscored them all.
Guess how many people broke 80 that day?
How many?
One.
And that was Will Matthews from Ozark, Alabama.
I shot a 74. Break 80 that day. That's right.
Isn't that amazing? Did your daddy go? Did he go to that tournament with you?
No.
But that was Colin McCrary's at the tournament. You know, he's working the tournament. Did you know that?
I heard he was, and I think there's a guy from Dothan working.
Yeah, and he's just elated over being able to do that. He's going to give us a report, hopefully, by the end of the week. But that is quite a tournament.
What kind of game do you got to have to win over there? A more experienced guy going to probably win, do you think?
Yeah, you're gonna see some older players have a chance to win. I tell you, Phil Mickelson could have a chance to win. Tiger could have a very good chance to win.
Why is that?
He's experienced.
They know the scores.
Tiger will do this. If Tiger hits one offline in the bushes or wherever, he's smart enough to know, look, I've hit a bad shot. I'm going to knock it back in play and just try to make a bogey.
Yeah.
Because many people will make doubles and triples and quadruples, and you can get in that stuff and stay there. I mean, it's really bad.
You know, the guy that's beginning to be my favorite player of all, his name is Bubba Watson. Will Bubba play well in this tournament?
I don't think so.
Because he hits the ball too high, doesn't he?
Yeah, he hits the ball too high. Now, hitting it high is perfect for Augusta. But over there,
Yeah.
I give him zero chance.
I'm going to go ahead and call. I'm going to go ahead and call it. I'm going to say Justin Rose.
Justin Rose is pretty good.
Justin Rose knows how to play over there, and he grew up on those courses. I think he'd be a good pick, really.
You know, a lot of those English players that were so good are not around anymore.
Westwood didn't play.
Who's that?
I'll tell you,
Westwood.
Yeah, Westwood. That's what I was going to ask you. Where is Westwood now?
He came in third or fourth the other week, one of them.
Okay.
Played
Yeah,
all right.
Paul Casey's pretty good too.
Yeah, Paul Casey is good.
Let me tell you who to look for. You probably never heard of him. Francesco Molinari from Italy.
Uh-huh.
He
Okay.
could be the first Italian to ever win the British Open.
Well, I tell you what.
Playing good.
I tell you who's playing good is these Korean golfers. Of course, they're American-bred, born Korean players, but they're really playing well right now.
Well, you're going to have.
But Kevin Na and Michael Kim, is that right?
Yeah, Spieth and McIlroy are not playing great at all right now. Justin Thomas is kind of falling off as well. So, yeah, I think you're going to see somebody with some experience probably win it.
Will, I'm talking about heroes today. Who was your heroes growing up? I mean, I know your dad was your hero, but who are some of the guys that you really looked up to and that were sort of your heroes?
Now, I'm going to tell you this, and you're not going to believe it, but it's true. Arnold Palmer was he was my hero.
Oh, yeah.
And when I was about 14, 15, 16 years old, somewhere in there, I had started playing golf. And I'd always gone to the Masters. I've been to every Masters since I was 11. Well, I got to meet Arnold Palmer. And he had the biggest hands I can ever remember.
Somebody told me he was real strong, especially in his hands.
Oh, yeah. His forearms were just muscle, just forearms. Anyway, I met Arnold Palmer. I want to say I was 15, 16 years old. And, I told him I'd started playing golf, and
He gave me some advice, and you know, one thing he told me, he said, hitting balls is overrated. You need to play golf because you when you're playing golf, you got all the little shots around the greens. You got, you know, and that gets you better. Hitting balls to an open field does not get you better.
And you know, you can sit there and start hitting balls, and eventually you get into a groove, and that groove's not like that when you're playing. Isn't that right?
Well, that groove, when you're faced with a shot, and if you miss the green, you're gonna be in the water or in, you know, something else. I mean, it's a different type thing. But would you believe, I met Palmer 7 times in my life. All 7 times were at Augusta. He remembered my name.
Isn't that amazing?
He remembered where I was from.
That's hard to believe.
Hard to believe the millions of people he probably crossed paths with. And,
you know, George Wallace, the former governor of Alabama, was like that.
Same way. He had a photographic memory for people.
Will, tell us about politics, man. I know you've got some real interest in today's election, and you hope that a lot of folks will go out and vote. What's your, first of all, let's talk about the congressional race between Martha Roby and your boy from Ozark.
I'm glad you asked me that because I think, you know, before yesterday,
and I'm talking about my good friend Bobby Bright.
That's right. Before yesterday, I thought Roby would probably win. After yesterday, I think Bobby Bright is going to beat her, and I'll tell you why. They had a big gathering in Ozark last night at 7 o'clock. Big meeting. There was 150 to 200 people there. Martha Roby was supposed to speak. Bobby Bright was not even invited because the people running the thing are for Roby.
Yeah.
Well, I got an email asking me to invite 5 or 6 people so they'd have a big crowd. So guess who I invited?
Bobby Bright.
Bobby Bright. He's there. And he shook hands with everybody there. Well, when they start the talk, they had Twinkle Cavanaugh. She's running for lieutenant governor. They had Troy King. He's running for attorney general. They had all these big people running, you know, statewide. And so anyway, the lady stood up and said, well, I just got a text from Martha Roby. She's got a family emergency, and we need to pray for Martha Roby's family tonight. That's why she's not here.
Yeah.
So I put it on my Facebook that she wasn't there. And I didn't believe her family emergency thing, but, you know, for Bobby Bright.
Now, she was in Troy yesterday. She was definitely in Troy yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
You know, Dad had Troy King on for an hour and 15 minutes the other day, Will.
And he was there last night.
Yeah.
Let me tell you what happened. One of my Facebook people, some lady, I can't remember her name, but she posted on my Facebook, she said, Will, Martha Roby is sitting here at Blue Plate Restaurant in Dothan eating with the mayor of Dothan, Mark Sleva.
Yeah.
Well, knowing me, do you think I told everybody that? And there was 150 mad people after I called her out as a liar right there in front of everywhere.
Again, ladies and gentlemen, this is not the opinion of Troy Cablevision.
No, this is the truth of Will Matthews in Dothan, and I don't care who says it.
I got you. I just wanted to be clear on that.
Oh, I know. I don't like liars. I don't like cheaters. I've been a judge for over 30 years, and when you've got somebody in her position, all she could have said was, I can't come, I've got something else going.
Yeah. I tell you something that people do need to be concerned with this election. You know, this guy who I didn't know much about. His name was Sonny. What's his name?
Sonny Reagan.
Sonny Reagan won during the last election. He won 2 counties. How does he win 2 counties? Yeah.
Well, he's the best candidate, I guess.
Yeah. And of course, you know, what I'm saying is, you would have thought Roby would have won all those counties there. You know, that surprised me.
You're talking, all right, wait a minute. You're talking about Congress.
Sonny Reagan ran
Not Sonny Reagan, but who is the guy? What's it? Moore is who I'm talking about. Moore.
Yeah, and he's a good boy. He won Enterprise, Coffee County, and he won Geneva County.
So by him being able to do it, it shows me that this is going to be a close race, don't you think?
Oh, very close. I mean, it's going to be razor thin.
But it's going to be very important, though, for a lot of people to get out and vote. The large vote would be in favor of Roby, wouldn't you think? I mean, the small vote would favor Roby, don't you think?
No, the little counties are going to vote for Bright. She'll win Montgomery, where she's from.
Okay. So give her Montgomery, give her Autauga. Is Autauga in her group? And Elmore, all those.
I think she'll win. I think he'll win Elmore, and she'll win Autauga.
Yeah.
Montgomery, she's going to win, but it depends on how much she wins by.
Now, will she win Dothan?
No. He's going to beat her in the Wiregrass.
Well, gosh, so the big vote is going to be Montgomery, and she needs a large vote in Montgomery, doesn't she?
If nobody votes today in Montgomery, she's beat.
All right, so she needs the large vote.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Well, Will Matthews calling in. Any other elections down your way that people should be concerned about?
Well, I mean, there's 5 or 6 on the ballot. There's no Democrats on the ballot where I voted.
Yeah.
But it's all Republican.
Yeah.
And you got the Attorney General running, and you got Lieutenant Governor running.
Yeah. What is your feeling on the Attorney General race? We had.
That's going to be close.
Yeah. Of course, Troy King's strong in the south part of the state, and this guy comes from up northern part of the state. So the high vote area, the high vote area belongs to to King's opponent. Don't you agree?
That could go either way, Mike. It really could.
Yeah, exactly. Of course, Will Matthews is.
What happened to Auburn Opelika losing the Barbasol? That tournament was in Auburn Opelika the last 3 or 4 years. It got moved to Kentucky.
Yeah.
That
was surprising me that they lost Barbasol. All right, Will, thank you so much for calling.
All right, guys, it's always good talking to you.
All right, thank you so much. Will Matthews calling from Ozark this morning. Dothan, he is a member of the Republican group there, and of course, this is going to be a very interesting race. What I say to all of you out there is go out and vote. We're not recommending anybody on this show, but what we're also want to do, and what we are recommending, is that you go out and do what all good citizens do, and that is vote today. And we've got a great show for you. Eric Burkett is on our show today. He is the new headmaster at Pike Liberal Arts School, and you'll meet him right after this.
Life is hectic enough without worrying if your lights will stay on or if there's hot water for your child's bath. So count on natural gas to keep the energy flowing, even when the weather is unpredictable. Natural gas is always there to keep your home warm, showers hot, and food cooked to perfection. That's why America has relied on safe and affordable natural gas for more than 150 years. And we will be here for you and future generations too. You can count on natural gas from Southeast Alabama Gas District.
Did you know at Wiley Sanders Truck Line that we offer Blue Cross Blue Shield, we offer dental, we offer disability, we offer vision, we offer life insurance, cancer insurance. We also have a 401k where we match up to 4%, dollar per dollar up to 4%. We also have automatic trucks at Wiley Sanders Truck Line. If you go to a truck driving school, we'll reimburse you. And don't forget about the $1,000 sign-on bonus. Money! Wiley Sanders Truck Line, Troy, Alabama. Wiley Sanders Truck Line. We help you save for your future.
Here's some Napa know-how for you. Your local Napa Auto Parts store in Troy is under new ownership with an all-new fully stocked store. Big deal, you say? Big deal, we say. Like the ownership, the store has a new look, too. We're still delivering the same Napa quality and know-how, but we've increased our inventory and are committed to helping you find the parts you need when you need them. So come check us out. We've got the right part at the right price at the right time.
Know-how, Napa know-how.
The new Smokehouse Pizza from Little Caesars is our first pizza with 3 smoked meats. So we got barbecue champion Big Mo Queson to test it out. 8-hour smoked brisket.
Certified beefified.
10-hour smoked pulled pork.
Certified hoggified.
Applewood smoked bacon.
Certified baconfied.
Drizzled with tangy barbecue sauce plus a Smokehouse seasoned crust.
Certified smokified.
The new Smokehouse Pizza. Only $9 and only at Little's.
Back to our show, ladies and gentlemen. And of course, we appreciate all of our sponsors this morning. And of course, again, there are a lot of opinions made on this show, and of course, everybody has the right to stress their opinion, and but it's not necessarily the opinion of this station. We just want you to go out and vote for who you think is the best candidate. And my good friend here this morning, my friends. Ladies and gentlemen, we introduced Eric Burkett to you today. He's the new headmaster at Pike Liberal Arts School, and congratulations, my friend.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
Of course, you hail from Butler County, and
Yes, sir.
a bunch of a lot of your friends are friends of mine.
That's right.
Tell us a little bit about you.
I'm from Butler County, from Greenville, Alabama. I was born and raised there, went to school at Greenville Academy, graduated from there. I'm married. Been married to my wife for 16 years, Amy. We have 3 beautiful kids, Riley, who is 9, Landon, who is 7, and Will just turned 2. So we stay busy with them.
So you're exactly right. You do stay busy.
Yes, sir.
Of course, this is a big undertaking for you because you leave your home county of Greenville. Of course, you were in public schools there. And,
Yes, sir.
And been associated with Greenville for a long time. Did that come into the picture and say, well, I'm leaving Butler County to come to Pike County, but you went to school here at Troy?
I did. I got my bachelor's degree in print journalism and public relations from Troy, and then I got my master's in EDS from AUM, and I'm currently working on my doctorate degree at Regent University, which is in Virginia Beach.
That's great. So,
yes, sir.
That is wonderful. Of course, print media is no stranger to you. You've
No,
been
sir.
in the newspaper business.
Yes, sir. I did that for 15 years straight out of high school. I was actually the editor of the Trop over at the university for 2 years. So I have a lot of roots here too. Several friends here that I'm glad to see and get reacquainted with.
Yeah. Of course, Pike Liberal Arts School, starts at the age of 4. Is it 4?
Yes, sir.
With the kindergarten program, which is really outstanding. At the age of 4, it goes all the way up to graduation, and of course, they built quite a reputation, not only academically, but in the sports field and the
Yes, sir.
cheerleading field, and so you knew you were coming to a place that was pretty well established.
Yes, sir, and we are excited for the opportunity. I'm excited to have my kids there. It's a great, like you said, academic institution as well as sports, coming off the heels of a state championship in baseball. Cheerleaders, JV and varsity, won the state competition again at Huntington this year, so a lot of good things going on.
Well, when you see these outside activities and these, the programs that y'all present at Pike, and it gives a person pretty much a good variety of things that education can allow.
Yes, sir. It makes for well-rounded students that are ready to go out into not only the workforce but into the world with life skills.
And something that Pike is building on a little bit, and it's getting bigger and better, is not only their band. They have a marching. They got a band now that is really outstanding, and they got a dance team that is outstanding.
Yes, sir. And got some university roots there too with Miss Ford here. She's doing
right.
a great job. So we're excited about that program continuing to grow as well.
So when you made this decision to leave the public schools to come to the independent schools, and of course you've got quite a background in education, what are some things that mean a lot to you, and sort of some of the people that have had that have inspired you to in education?
I've had one thing that I'm excited about coming here is having my children in a a Christian-based environment. We're excited about that.
Where you can pay allegiance to the flag,
Yes,
and
sir.
you can also pray
in the morning,
and
all the students stand for the pledge, and all those things are important.
I mean, it's a Christian environment.
Yes, sir. And some people who have had influence on my career is the person who hired me was Dr. Kathy Murphy, who spent a little time here in
sure.
Troy. She's now up at Hoover and was a finalist for the
Mike, are
state.
you still on? All right, I'm trying to just check and see if you're still on. Go ahead.
And she was a finalist for the state superintendent job. So she's had a big influence on me, giving me my start in this career. Also, my former principal at Greenville High School, I worked with him for 6 years, Joseph Dean. I was assistant principal under him for 5 years. So he's had a big influence on me as well.
Yeah. Of course, you know, the basic thing is reading, writing, and arithmetic.
Yes, sir.
If you want to just get down to the nitty gritty, and of course, Pike has a reputation of most all of their graduates are either going to college, or they're going to a place where they can get education in just the general workforce.
Yes, sir. I looked at some stats yesterday related to that, and 94% of last year's graduates enrolled in college. The year before that was a little bit higher. So I think that there's a good base there, some great teachers from what I see at Pike Liberal Arts, and I'm excited to get the opportunity to work with them.
Of course, it all started around 1970, I want to say. Around that was the date that I would think that Pike Liberal Arts opened its doors, and has produced a lot of good students. And you know, people back then said, how well would these students do when they leave high school and the curriculums that they received here at Pike compared to maybe some of these big public schools or whatever. But you haven't missed a beat. I mean,
That's right.
Your kids are going to Auburn and Alabama and to Troy and making good grades.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So they have not had any problem with that, have they?
Not that I'm aware of. I think the curriculum that we build at Troy prepares them for that endeavor.
And of course, you've had a lot of the same teachers there for a long time, and you know, your faculty can stand up to most anybody.
That's right. Yes, sir. I would agree with that.
Now, being here at Troy, and of course being a Troy alumnus, and I know you're proud of a lot of things they've done. One thing they have done at Troy University, ladies and gentlemen, is a lot of kids are able to take courses at Troy University while they're in high school.
That's right.
In fact, it's not anything to be concerned about with a kid graduating from high school at Pike Liberal and being a sophomore in college at Troy.
That's right. They can get some credits with our dual enrollment program, and I would encourage any student that's trying to go that route, to go to college, they can go ahead and get some credits out of the way. Now, there are some standards they have to meet, you know, certain GPA to get enrolled in that program, but I think it's a great marriage with Troy University.
Exactly. Well, one of the first things you and I talked about yesterday when we were in your office, and I appreciate you giving me the opportunity to talk to you, is that you have a very close relationship with Dr. Jack Hawkins.
Yes, sir.
As a student, and this just goes back, you know, the things you were saying, how he had an open door policy, it really was a great benefit to you.
It was. I got a chance to work with him in a couple of areas while I was editor of the paper there, and he sent me something in the mail the other day that I want to thank him for, a clip from the Troy Messenger where I got hired with a personal note, and that's one thing about Troy University, my experience there. The faculty and the administration, all of them had an open door policy, and that's my philosophy as well.
Well, right now, student enrollment, in fact, if you ask most anybody in the Alabama independent schools what schools were really doing very well, you would say Pike Liberal Arts is growing
Yes, sir.
As we speak.
Yes, sir. I would. I think they rank up there with some of the larger schools in enrollment. We want to grow that enrollment. We want to show, like you alluded to, that we prepare students for college, and that we're a good place to send your children.
No
for
question
that.
about it. And I read off a list of this American Legion baseball team that just won the state
Yes,
championship, and about half those kids were from Pike Liberal.
Yes, sir.
So they're a very good baseball program, and I know you were proud of the way they did. What I like about what you stand for is most every family that sends their child to Pike Liberal Arts School has a sit down with the headmaster.
Yes, sir.
And say, hey, what can we do for you? What can we make better for you?
I can say that I've been welcomed with open arms. Everybody's been so warm and kind and inviting, and just like you said, conversations with parents and administrators and teachers, those are important conversations. Want everybody to be on the same page.
Well, we talked about yesterday. I've got a friend of mine that's got twins. They're moving down from Birmingham, and they had twins, and they're interested in soccer. Well, when I mentioned that to you, you accepted that very well, that your children are in soccer.
Yes, sir.
So I wouldn't doubt in the near future, before long, if the more the interest in soccer grows, you might end up with a soccer program.
Yes, sir. If the interest is there, there's always room for
Sure.
growth and room for improvement. And I know that soccer is a big sport. My son played baseball, and he
Sure.
wanted to try soccer, and he did it, and he loved it.
Yeah.
So as the interest grows, that opportunity is there for sure.
I'd like to ask you this, and of course, people out there, I'm sure, would have questions. And our telephone number is 670-0052. We have about 20-25 minutes left on our show here. But something that I was impressed with you about, it's different being at this. The Alabama Independent Schools are different. There's no question, because. You can call it a private school, but it actually has an open door policy.
Yes, sir.
Is that right?
Yes, sir, it does. Students have to go through a screening process.
Sure.
They have to have if they're coming from another school and want to enroll in Pike, they have to have certain ethical standards, academic standards that they have to meet. Yes, sir.
Exactly right. And of course, and another thing too, like we talked about, it is a Christian school. And here's comes a call coming in. Good morning. You're on Today in LA. How you doing?
Hey, I'm just calling back.
Mike, we have on our show Eric Burkett, who is the new headmaster at Pike Liberal Arts School. Mike, on the outside looking in, what is your opinion of Pike Liberal Arts School?
I mean, it's one of the better private schools in the state. So it's definitely a situation where it's grown tremendously since I was a kid. When I was in high school back in the 90s, compared to 2018, I mean, the enrollment and the facilities and everything at Pike Liberal Arts are through the roof compared to back then.
Of course, you're in the sporting good business, and you go to a lot of different schools. How does Pike rate with a lot of schools you go to now? We were talking about Lee Scott, and everybody doesn't have a Lee Scott, but give us your opinion of Lee Scott compared to a lot of the schools that you call on.
Well, I mean, I've been to Lee Scott, and I've been to Bessemer Academy, and I go to different private schools.
Tuscaloosa Academy.
And Pike Liberal Arts has got good facilities, and it's a really nice private school.
No question about it. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, Eric Burkett is our guest this morning, and on the outside looking in, when this came across, I'm sure this time last year you did not have your eye on Pike Liberal Arts School, but when this came open and this opportunity came open, what was your gut feeling and looking at Troy and Pike Liberal Arts from the outside looking in?
Having been here in college, I know that the town has changed a lot. The
It's
university,
grown,
it has. It's grown a lot. The university's grown.
Yeah.
Beautiful campus. They're doing some incredible things over there.
Yeah.
But I looked at it as a great place for my family to live and a great school for my children to go to. We were drawn to the school immediately. They have a beautiful campus, all the athletic facilities right there on campus, a new building. I would call it new. It's 10 years old, but it's new, and then a vision to add on to that in the future.
You know, if I looked at anything, and I like to be positive about everything, and of course I'm a big supporter of both public and private schools. Anything good for Troy is good for with me, as far as I'm concerned. And I've just really enjoyed hearing your comments. You don't know how you look unless you see it from another side.
Yes, sir.
Fort Dale, a very good school in Greenville, very well supported in Greenville. I'm sure you would like to have that same kind of support, and I'm sure you can feel it.
I can.
It's quite a bit similar, isn't it?
Yes, sir. And I can. It's great that you bring that point up. I do feel the support from the community and the families that I've met so far, and the teachers there and everything. Yes, sir.
Well, you know, one thing you're going to find at an independent school is you're going to have a lot of opinions.
Yes, sir.
And of course, I reckon you can bring X, Y, Z in here to a meeting, 3 or 4 families in the meeting, and they all are going to not necessarily see things the same way. I mean, there's going to be some differences. Are you ready to take care of that situation?
I am, and I value everybody's opinion.
Sure.
I think that dialogue.
That's why I'm saying they get a chance to sit down in front of you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And I welcome that.
Yeah.
I do.
You said something yesterday in our interview was, it's very important to sit down and listen to every situation, but at the end, you've got to make a decision.
Yes, sir.
And that's what's important is to listen to everybody's concerns and then say, hey, this is the way we got to do it.
And the decision be based on what's best for the children.
Exactly.
At
of course,
Pike.
you've got a good board, and that board
Yes,
is, and you make those decisions. Is
Yes,
that
sir.
right?
Yes, sir.
And
So how's that work, K through 12? I mean, how many students are we looking at Pike Liberal Arts altogether now?
It's right in the area of about 485, 490.
which is one of the bigger
Dad,
schools.
when you
is that
coached
right?
there back in the 70s, when you were the head football coach, how many students were there?
Oh, it wasn't near that many. Probably 200 at that time, probably. But it was but fast growing. You know, I was just a young buck and a 23-year-old trying to be a head football coach. I took that job way prematurely.
And when I was at Greenville Academy in the 80s and the early 90s, we had about 250.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, sir.
Of course, at one time, I want you to hear this. There was a Greenville Academy, and the Autries and people like that were big supporters in that program. And of course, then there was Fort Dale. And then at that one time, they had another one down in Georgiana. Is that right?
They had South Butler Academy and Fort Deposit.
And Fort
Academy.
Deposit, yeah.
And Fort Deposit and South Butler both closed. And some of the Fort Deposit kids came to Greenville Academy and some to Fort Dale. But and that's during the time that Fort Dale changed their name to Fort Dale South Butler
That's right,
when they merged with South Butler.
You remember, Mike, at one time there was a football player that came out of Fort Deposit, played at Alabama. Y'all remember him?
What's his name?
I'm trying to. Michael is my.
I remember there was a lot of guys that came out of Lyles Academy, like you had the Calsies, and you had the Preston Gothard.
Gothards and all those guys came out of there, and Coker came out of there too. There was a great player at Troy, but Fort Deposit had a team at one time, and they had a big lineman. I'm trying to think of his name that went on and played at Alabama. And of course, yeah. But of course, Troy is no stranger to you. So you come in here, hit the ground running, pretty much. Is that right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's what I've tried to do. Had a very productive first day yesterday. Of course, I had done some things on the back end, interviewing some teachers and things like that before my official first day, which was yesterday.
So your life has really changed, hasn't it?
Yes, sir. But for the better.
Yeah.
For the better.
And,
yes, sir.
and of course, no question about it. And you talking about your staff, and you're as good as the people you hire.
There's no doubt about that.
As far as teachers, and you've had some teachers that have been there 20, 30 years and very loyal to Pike Liberal Arts.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I felt ever since even when I interviewed with my first interview with the board members and everything, I've just felt a cohesive. It's like just a large family,
Yeah.
which is what I.
All right,
like.
now you've got a age 4 through 4th and 5th kindergarten. Is that right? 4th and
Yes, sir. Four and 5 years.
All right, 4 and 5 year old kindergarten.
So y'all have a K4?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and then you have a elementary part, which is 1st through 6th, or is that our 1st through 5?
In that top building there, the new building, it goes K4 through 2nd, and then 3rd through 6th is on a hall,
Exactly. Yeah.
and then 7 through 12 is on a
Yeah.
hall. Yes,
All right. So, do you have certain people on your staff that can say, work with the elementary group, and then the junior high group, and then the varsity group, or do you do it that way, or how you do it?
Yes, sir. The K4 through 2nd grade teachers, they have their same students all day, and then we have some teachers that, like English, for example, teaches 7, 8, 9.
Sure.
And then another teacher teaches 10, 11, 12.
Uh-huh. And of course, you provide in the sciences, in math. I reckon you go as high as you can pretty much go in math. Is that right?
Yes, sir. And in the science, we have a robotics program which has been very successful.
Yeah.
And we have a outdoor science lab, a building that's separate from the school where they have a nice science lab in there.
Well, of course, ladies and gentlemen.
Today with high school kids, a lot of them go ahead and start taking college courses while they're in high school.
Yeah, we were talking about that earlier.
I guess that's a huge benefit as well to have Troy University in your backyard.
It is, and we have a dual enrollment program, and they can take those classes on Access, and they get credit, high school credit and college credit at the same time.
All right, now
You mentioned, I know this is off the subject, but they're having a bye-bye going away party for Sartain Hall.
Yeah, that is something very important that we want to talk about today real quickly, is that Sartain Hall will be, after today is over, and I hate it. You've been to many events there.
I have.
Graduation there.
It almost makes me want to cry just to even hear
I know it,
that
and of course you and I were sitting there when they scored 258 points. We saw some great basketball games over the years, and I've been to a lot of great entertainment there.
Yes, sir.
It's been a wonderful facility.
Yes, sir, it has. And I when I first came to Troy, I had a scholarship in the sports information department, so I did some of the stats and everything like that. And I remember seeing the game you're talking about with the 200 something points. They had
and Tom Enzi was doing the book,
and they had the books, the pages taped together. It got bigger and bigger because so many points.
and it's
were
a
scored.
record that will probably never be
That's right.
broken. I hate it. I hate it because the building is still a pretty nice facility.
It is nice.
And a lot of people would beg to have a facility like that,
That's
and we're
right.
fixing to break it down, and it will be ashes before the week's
What are they going
over.
to turn that into? Parking?
I don't know, but they're building a tremendous wellness center there right now, which is going to enhance the whole part of the country here when that is open. But I'm sure they know what they're doing,
That's right.
and know that they need the space. And I would think a multi-level parking facility would be great.
I would think so too. The way that campus is growing,
That's right.
and everything like that, that's one area where they probably need a little help. Is in
Exactly
parking.
right.
Yes, sir.
I tell you who they ought to call in. They ought to call in Don Maestri and David Felix. They probably want to be there to say
Yeah,
goodbye.
you're exactly right.
bet so.
And didn't you tell me that Don Maestri is now living in Tuscaloosa? Is that right?
Yeah, he decided to go ahead and retire from basketball. He was at Texas A&M.
What a great guy.
Great guy. Great guy.
Yeah, and of course,
for years, when I was in college, I worked in the athletic department, and the football team worked out there for years too. That's where the
down in the basement, no question about it. And
Sartain Hall,
they used to board teams, like teams from up north, Mike. They would come to play Troy, and they would stay in the gym. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
Oh yeah, they've got a bottom area. where they had the bunk beds, they would have 20 or 30 bunk beds in the showers, and well, it would save them
Sure,
money.
hotel rooms and
like
stuff.
the coach
Right.
would be Archer back then. It said, "All right, if you come down here and play in our tournament, we'll provide you a place to stay and you can eat in our dining hall and whatever."
I
But,
didn't know that.
I reckon.
I still say one of the most fun events ever there was the high school basketball tournament when Jeff Davis played Central Phoenix City. And
Yeah, do
people
you
were
remember some
literally
old state play?
coming through the bathroom windows to try to watch the basketball?
It was unbelievable. You're
I
right.
did. I worked several of those games when I was in sports information doing the stats.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So were you under Enzi?
I was. It was Corey Rice
I remember Corey.
who was there for 1 year, I believe.
that's right.
I worked with him, and I was the one that I would call out. Like I would sit in the press box in the
Yeah.
football games, and I would call out the stats that
Yeah,
needed to be
exactly.
entered, and somebody was beside me doing it in the computer.
Of course, I know you enjoyed that, and you'll probably do some of that at Pike. You might be having to do some breakdowns of the games and so forth. I do a lot of that myself, and really enjoyed it. We're all in this thing together in our community, and this is a great community. How do you foresee, looking at Troy from outside looking in, how did you perceive it?
Just like I said before, a great community, a great place to raise your children. My kids, my daughter plays softball. She loves softball, and she loves gymnastics. And so those are things that we looked at too. The facilities at the Troy Rec are just amazing, and there's a lot of opportunities for gymnastics here as well.
It really is.
So,
what is the name of our big building out here, Mike, that's so good in gymnastics?
Extreme.
Extreme.
Right.
Which is, people from all over the country come in for
Yes,
that,
sir.
and we've got it right here in Troy.
Yes, sir. And she's another thing that we like is she's going into the fourth grade. My daughter, my oldest, she's going into the fourth grade. She's getting an opportunity to be a cheerleader at a young age. My son can play flag football and things like that. So they're excited about those
I'll
opportunities.
tell you something else, Mike, and this is another benefit, especially I reckon if you taught there, you'd like this. They serve breakfast and lunch there at Pike Liberal Arts School. Isn't that right?
That's right.
So
yes, sir.
you go there, you get there early enough, and kids get a good hot meal before class. And,
Yes.
And then you've got catered in some wonderful food
From Julius.
From Julius.
Yes, sir.
So Mike is not a bad place to eat either.
That's right.
After having two little baby girls, I've got a 22-month-old and an 8-month-old, and hearing about 4K, that would be enticing for me because of daycare. You'd want to try to get them in school as early as possible.
That's right.
Really nice.
That's
How
right.
has that worked? Has that worked well?
It has worked well. Both of mine, like I said, I have a 2-year-old, so he'll be coming up. But both of mine went to a K-4 program in Butler County, and I think they both came out reading. So I think that K-4 year is
Really
important.
yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I live in Vestavia, so we, daycare in Birmingham, Alabama is pretty ridiculous.
Outrageous, I'm
Exactly.
sure. Yes, sir.
After hours, do y'all offer an after hours program?
There is. It's
And
something.
that, to me, is very important. Don't you agree, Mike? Having an after hours program? And y'all do have that? Y'all
Yes,
offer
sir.
that?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And that's
My
very good.
favorite thing about going to school there would probably have to walk over to get ribs and Hook's barbecue.
Hey, I was wondering about that. I see some pads now.
Well, hey, I've been told that from my office I'll be able to smell it, and I'll be tempted to walk over there. So
great barbecue.
Yes, sir.
And of course, there's some paths leading to Walmart.
Right.
And some other great things about it. We're talking to Eric Burkett. I want to mention, do you pronounce your name Burkett or Burkett?
Burkett, just like you're saying.
Burkett.
Burkett.
And
Yes,
of
sir.
course, we had a good friend of ours named Spencer Burkett. Mike, you remember him, Burkett? Now, he wasn't related to you, was he? Or
Not that I'm aware
he
of.
was
no,
from
sir.
Georgiana.
Right. Now I am related to some from down there in Georgiana because
Yeah.
I grew up about 10 miles from Georgiana, out in the middle of nowhere. But there are two sets there.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Well, you're a Greenville native, and actually, it's been 5 or 6, 7 years since Delaney Kirby retired
Yes, sir.
at Pike. But he leaves quite a legacy.
That's right. That's right. I've heard several great things about
Laney
him.
Kirby.
And he has Greenville roots.
Oh yeah,
too.
born and raised in Greenville,
Right.
and
What about
just
Coach Allen? Did you know Coach Allen back from when you were growing up in Greenville? He coached at Greenville High.
Yes, sir, I do. I'm good friends with his brother-in-law, actually, Troy Ward Thigpen, who's a great
in the Hall
pitcher
of
here at
Fame
Troy.
here,
That's right.
At Troy, you know, you remember Ward, don't you, Mike?
Oh yeah.
And of course, let me tell you something about him. Talking about the football coach,
Gene, yes, sir.
Yeah, he and I have been friends a long time. One of the fine people you'll find anywhere. If I had a child playing football or playing any sport, and he was a coach, I'd feel awfully good.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. He's a great guy.
And you've got good people in your athletic program, and boy, this Ponder guy, what a coach he is.
That's
too.
right. That's right.
And of course, everywhere you go, they're great leaders. And you know, you were talking about some of the people that supported you so much, and of course, it's going to take time for you to get to know everybody.
Yes,
but
sir.
You actually offer the opportunity for parents they want to come in and talk to you.
Sure, yes, sir.
Just call your office and set up a time. Is
That's
that
right. That's right. Or if they're by the school and they want to come in and speak to me, now they would have to locate me. My plan is to be out and about in some classrooms,
right.
things like that.
Of course, you'll probably be speaking to clubs and organizations
Yes, sir.
over the period of time. I was fortunate to get you early, and I know I
Yes,
brought
sir.
you in early, and I appreciate it. But you know, something that really impressed me about what you had to say, and one of the things you mold your career after is, if it's good for Pike Liberal Arts, I want to hear about it.
That's right. Yes, sir.
I mean, if it's not good for the whole group, then we've got a concern.
That's right. Yes,
but
sir.
but if it's something good, and if it's an idea that's good and that will benefit our school,
I welcome all of that. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And you're willing to hear what people have to say.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And I tell you, let me just say this, and I'm not just saying it because you're sitting here, but just from what I've learned from you and been around you now for 2 or 3 hours, you really are fit the mold for what they need at Pike Liberal Arts.
Thank you. I appreciate it. We're excited about it.
A veteran educator, a guy that's been there and done that, and knows a lot about what it takes to run a school, and I know you're excited.
I am. Yes, sir.
And
Come on, when does school actually start?
Yeah.
The first day of school for students, August 9th.
Gosh, can you believe that?
Half a day.
That's crazy.
Boy.
I remember I used to start school in September.
After Labor Day.
You know
normally.
who hates all you folks? You know who just hates you? The people that owns the motels at the beach.
That's true. That's true.
It has cut them out a whole month. You know, really
Who really wants to go down there when it's so hot in August?
Yeah, you're right. No question about it. But again, you've got an opportunity to talk to the public and sell your school.
Pike Lib, from everything that I have seen, is just a wonderful place to send your children. College ready, get your child college ready. The ACT scores are in the top in the state and private school.
That was something too that people need to know, that academically y'all rate right up there with them.
That's right, and athletics are important too. Success in athletics. I'm a former coach.
Yeah.
Coached football and basketball for several years in Greenville, and so as your athletics grow, and your school can grow too. So I think both of those are important together. Yes, sir.
What do you think about having a cable television that will be able to televise your games, some of them live even, and to promote your school?
It's great. It's an opportunity that most schools don't have.
Yeah.
So we're thankful for that, for sure.
Well, I tell you what, we look forward to having you
Yes,
on this
sir.
show
Thank
many times
Thank
over
you.
the
I
next
appreciate
years,
it.
and we congratulate you on
Thank
the.
you.
He's the new headmaster at Pike Liberal Arts School, and gosh, August the 9th won't be
August
long.
9th. That's right.
And I know you're having staff meetings over and over. I saw some people there yesterday that have been with you a long time, and one of them's name's Miss Sunday, and
Yes,
boy,
sir.
I mean, so dedicated teachers.
There are some great ones there.
Which, you know, I think that's how you rate yourself, is how good a faculty do you have. and what they mean to the total school body and everything.
That's
to
right.
have great teachers.
They're the ones that drive the school.
Is that
Sure.
right? And
Yes,
a lot
sir.
of them are people that could have been making more money in the public
That's right.
schools,
But they're
they
dedicated
love,
to Pike.
That's right.
That's right.
They love Pike Liberal Arts.
Yes,
no
sir.
question about it. Again, congratulations.
Dad, go out and
Thank
say
you.
goodbye to Sardine Hall for me today.
I will. In fact, I think I ought to take a camera out there this morning and get some
Get some
footage
pictures.
of it.
That's right. Yeah.
Of the great place that had a lot of great
a lot of great
victories.
memories there. Yes,
In fact,
sir.
it wouldn't be hard to do. A good sports information director could give me, but I'd like to know Troy's record in that facility over. I think it opened in 69, 68 or 69 is when that. No, it was before then. 62 or 63, something like that.
That would be interesting to see
Yeah,
what their
to
record
see what
is.
their record was.
Maestri had some good years
He
there,
really
so it's
did.
probably a
And
pretty
Archer
good record.
did too,
Right.
and you're right, no question about it. I hope you enjoyed our show today, and you can watch it again today at 1:30 on Channel 2 right here on your dial. I want you to know this, that thanks to Facebook, you've been seen live
All right.
across the country and across the world.
All right.
And I hope that you've enjoyed it. Appreciate
Yes,
our
sir.
sponsors so very much. We'll see you tomorrow, bright and early for Today in L.A. Remember, big cake auction Friday on our show to help raise money for the Dixie Bells softball World Series out in Texas. See you then.